Hello, my name is Linda McAnany, and welcome to my show. My guests today are Vicki Bullock. Vicki and I are friends, and she might say something different than that, but we've been friends for a long time. She's the coordinator of the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. From now on, I'm going to call it the FSS program because I get stumbling every once in a while over that word. Also with us is Julie Meranda, Assistant Director and Housing Counselor of the Redeem Project.
Yes.
And she works with Vicki and is really a new employee with Vicki. So first of all, tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been with Redeem since January 9th of this year, so, a little under a month. I grew up here in Jefferson City. I now live in New Bloomfield with my husband and my new son, who is just about 4 months old, Carter. Graduated from Hannibal-LaGrange University in 2017 with a bachelor's in social work. And so now we're just here working with Vicki.
That's great. And she is an inspiration, I will tell you. And as much as I love to give my friend a bad time, she truly does a wonderful job, and she truly is an inspiration for the FSS program and the group of people that works with. First of all, let's talk about the FSS program. Tell us about it and what's its purpose.
The Family Self-Sufficiency Program is a HUD-sponsored program. It is a granted program, and it's to help people get off of government assistance, in a nutshell.
Now, the Housing Authority is when you're speaking of HUD.
Yes, we work in collaboration with the Housing Authority. In order to qualify, there is one main qualifier, and that is that the person needs to be on Section 8 through the Housing Authority here in Jefferson City.
Okay, so tell us about the clients that you work with.
Well, first of all, we don't call them clients because to me that's a number.
That's true. Good point.
And we don't like to think of people as numbers. We want them to be individuals, and so we call them participants. They come to us, we first assess their needs, which everyone is assessed individually, and we set goals with them. Initially, most of them don't even know how to set goals for themselves. And so we sit down with them and set some minor goals, maybe something that they can accomplish in the next week. And start out small, and then we start working on budgets and education, things for their family, and before you know it, they have 5 years worth of goals set.
That's great. Now, it's interesting. I had never really thought about this, but it's interesting you said that some of them may never have set goals for themselves. So you're speaking of the fact they may need help financially, and we'll get into these more details, but also just their very living, they may not have set goals for themselves. Is that kind of the way you see it?
Exactly. Most of them have been in this cycle of public housing and Section 8 all of their lives. They've grown up this way. There's nothing wrong with that, but many of them have the mindset that they want to be better. They want to have a better life for their family. And so we're there to help them do that.
That's great. So do you have day-to-day involvement with the clients, Vicki, or does your organization, or how does that work?
We do. Our schedule basically is set based on their need. We have office time and we have workshop times that are consistent for appointments and things like that. But I go to their homes or visit with them when it's convenient for them because many of our people work.
That's good. That's a good sign. Is there a cost for what you do?
No, everything is free.
That's great. So it's an opportunity to help these individuals and not a charge to them as well.
Exactly. And the neat thing about it, Linda, and I know you're very well aware of this because you've been with us from day one, for the 8 years that we've been doing this, we've had 15 families graduate. And upon graduation, they receive a check, which is held in an escrow during the 5 years of this commitment. We've handed out checks as large as $30,000.
That's wonderful. And they earn it.
Exactly.
It's by accomplishing and meeting the goals and their individual goals, that's what gives them that opportunity. So they have indeed earned it.
Exactly.
So what are your funding sources then?
For this particular program, for family self-sufficient, I'm like you, I can't even say it, family self-sufficiency, FSS. That's why they say FSS. It is strictly from HUD. Those funds that we receive in the grant come to us every year. We have to renew this grant every year, and it's committed specifically to this program.
Okay. I had forgotten renewing that grant every year. That in itself is kind of there's a sense of urgency to doing that.
Yes, there is, and it comes out at different times every year, so you can't just be watching for it and be ready to put the grant together. It's different every year. We have different commitments that we have to make each year, different hoops that we have to jump through every year. Housing Authority has to do a certain part of it, and so we work together every year to put this grant together.
That's great. Now, one of the newer requirements, I think, is some additional education that the staff has to go through, is it not?
Yes, and in fact, that's what Julie's working on right now.
Yes.
You can tell a little about that, Julie,
Yes,
if you'd
tell
like.
us about that.
So they have a few modules online that you have to go through, and then you have to take a test to become certified. So in the process of going through all the modules right now, and there's a little bit of math involved, which is unfortunate. But at the end of going through the modules, I'll take a test and then become certified as a housing counselor. And that's basically the process.
And you've gone through this
Yes.
as well, have you not?
Yes, I took the certification last year because it became a requirement last year for us to have a housing counselor on staff, or at least someone we could go to that was a certified housing counselor. And so my feeling was to keep it in-house so that we could work closer with that.
Absolutely, with your clients.
Right, and so we did that, and I was certified in August of last year.
Now, when you are a housing counselor, what does that mean?
Housing counselor really is what we do every day with them, in
Okay.
talking to them about becoming a homeowner, working them to that point. Julie's part in this, and a housing counselor will be more of a follow-up to those who, once they graduate from the program and become homeowners, which is our hope, and also HUD's hope in the end of this. She'll be visiting with them as a follow-up and a follow-through to those who graduate. And so it's more of a follow-up. And I like that idea, because we don't want someone to graduate after spending 3 to 5 years in a program,
yeah, right.
and then all of a sudden nothing.
Right.
That's not fair to the participants to just drop them like that. So we want to continue that with them. And so with having a housing counselor on staff that's not just myself, it allows us to be able to do that, because we'll have more time that we can give to that.
And that follow-up has got to be tremendously important, not only from just the standpoint of, but also to keep them involved and keep their enthusiasm for what they're doing. Is that true?
Exactly.
That's interesting. So from what you've learned thus far, are you excited? And I know this is, I know you're excited, but,
Yeah.
but is this what you thought when you came on board?
Yeah, I'm excited because we have 5 to 8 graduates happening this year, and so getting able to become certified at the beginning of this, the beginning part of this year, and working towards the learning process and all of that. It's going to be a learning process for them too.
Sure.
And so being able to do that with them and alongside of them and be able to guide them. I just bought my first home last year, and I know how big of a hassle that can
Absolutely.
be. And so that's all still fresh for me. So I'm able to put that experience in with what I'm going to be working with them on, and be able to help guide them a little bit with the little experience I do have right now.
Well, and I think it's so important that you have the chance to share with them your feelings, having just done that as well.
It's a lot more invasive than I expected it to be, and so being able to understand that and help them know that going into it, I think will be helpful, because I didn't realize how invasive it was, so being able to help prepare them for that.
Particularly when, as you said earlier, when you're working with individuals, and I'm not putting them down, but individuals who may not have ever set goals for themselves. And so this is it's not only the process, but it's also the long-term, I guess is the best
Sure.
way to put it.
Yeah.
This isn't a short-term need. This is a long-term life process
Sure.
that you're teaching them. So that also makes it fun. I know that you do a series of workshops, and I know they've been very helpful because I've talked to some of the clients about these workshops. But tell us about some of the workshops and how they're done and who does them, et cetera.
We're very fortunate that we have partnerships with several businesses, several other organizations in town that help us with these. Thankfully, I don't have to lead all of them. I only lead one or two. But we have Dana Alderman, who's on our advisory board as well, from River Region Credit Union. She's now doing our budgeting and finance classes. It's great to have someone who is in that realm teaching that. She can give them up-to-date things that are going on. Doesn't mean that we're pushing that particular bank or credit union.
That's right.
It's just so that they have a better idea of what's available to them. And we work with Central Missouri Community Action, CMCA.
I'll tell you what, I want to talk more about that.
Okay.
We're going to take a break right now so I can get this cough out. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
I'm Shelley Locke with Child Care Aware of Missouri. We're committed to helping families find child care and early learning programs that meet their needs. Finding the right child care or preschool is one of the most important decisions parents make. We help parents understand the types of programs available and the state's licensing rules. We also provide tips on what to look for when you visit possible programs for your child. Call us today at 866-892-3228 or visit us online at mo.childcareaware.org. Child Care Aware of Missouri, Missouri's most trusted child care resource.
Family Counseling Center of Missouri offers a number of therapeutic and psychiatric services at 204 Metro Drive. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for individuals, families, and communities by helping people make positive changes in their lives and empowering them to make healthy and effective choices. Our focus is building healthier lives together. Call 573-634-4591 or visit us online at info@fccmo.org. FCC is proud to be a Compass Health organization and a United Way partner agency.
Hi, I'm Kurt Probst, and I'm a big brother. Missouri Valley Big Brothers Big Sisters desperately need your help. Right now, more than 50 children are waiting for someone to spend time with them, waiting for a mentor. By spending time with a child, you can change their future and improve their chances of succeeding in life. All it takes is 1 hour a week. Call Missouri Valley Big Brothers Big Sisters at 634-3290 to get involved today. We are proud to be a United Way partner agency.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. My guests today are Vicki Bullock, who is the who is the coordinator with the FSS program here in Jefferson City, and the assistant director and housing counselor is Julie Meranda. She's relatively new with this organization and also works with the Redeem Project, which I hope we have some time to talk a little bit about Redeemed as well. You know, we were talking about some of the programs that you have, and you mentioned the program that you have with regards to the financial. What are some of the other programs?
We work with CMCA with the Show Me Healthy Relationships, which covers a lot of territory. I really like the way that they've done this, and it's a grant through the university that we've been working with them. It covers family relationships, parenting. It also covers budgeting in a respect. It also covers healthy foods. It covers the whole gamut of things, and so I really like that module that they're doing, and we've done it with them a couple of times, and it takes, actually to do from beginning to end, it takes about 4 or 5 months.
Does it? I
Yes.
didn't realize that, but there, of course, when you think how much information they're giving out and they're instructing, it should take a lot of time.
Sure, and it's nice because there are also incentives in part of that for your attendance and for participation and things like that, gift cards and different things along the way that they can earn. So that's kind of nice.
And that ultimately also affects the amount of money in the long run,
Yes.
does it not? Okay, they're completing the program, so
Exactly.
to speak. Okay, you talked about some of the partners. Are there any other partners that you're working with currently, and how are they involved?
We work with Missouri Care, which is health related. That's the state health insurance, which covers all of our families at this point. And we work a lot with them, having workshops to keep the ladies and the gentlemen up to date on things with the health insurance. Many of them, and I've learned a lot with just the workshops as well, finding out that they can actually get paid mileage if they take a child to a maintenance type clinic, and things that you just wouldn't think about that we may take for granted, that when we have these workshops, our people are asking questions that they need to know the answers, and that's why we have these workshops, so they can understand better what they're participating in. We also work with, of course, United Way, various workshops through many of the agencies there. We also work with Salvation Army and Samaritan Center and others with different things that they do.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You mentioned the amount of time that an individual is involved, but it must account for hours a week. Is that close?
A lot of hours a week.
That's great.
They also need to do community service every year.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they have to participate in 25 to 50 community hours. And that's service work that they do. Many of them help at Christmas time, especially with either Hope for Christmas or at other organizations for Christmas. They help with doing things downtown on beautification, things like that.
You know, it was mentioned earlier that you're currently working with 5 to 8 clients. Is that about right, that may graduate this year?
Yes, that'll graduate.
But over the period of years, you've had, what, about 15 graduates?
15.
That's amazing. In about an 8-year, over an 8-year basis?
And because of the fact that this is a 5-year program, actually just in the last 3 years, that's when that's happened.
Okay, you've been involved with the FSS program since the beginning. What prompted you to do so, Vicki?
You.
Oh my. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
It's your fault. Honestly, when this all started was when I was opening up the doors to Redeem Project.
And I want to talk about Redeem too, by the way, but
okay.
Go ahead.
You and I had talked a little after I had left the position at the Salvation Army as the social service director and working with Center of Hope. And I felt like there were people that were falling between the cracks. And at the time, Michelle at the Housing Authority was looking at this grant and trying to figure out how they could do this, and they didn't have room for another staff person to be able to do it in-house. And so we got permission to be able to do this outside of the Housing Authority, and you were very instrumental in helping us write the grant and put this together, and you and Michelle and I have been together ever since.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is that it is in partnership, obviously.
Yes.
But it's also kind of an extension of what you did as Redeem. Talk a little bit about Redeem.
Well, the Redeem Project, of course, is my baby. I'm very proud of the fact that we use 100% of any donation that comes in throughout the year for exactly the program that someone donates it for. If they donate it for our GED high-set program, that's what it goes for. We don't use it for any kind of overhead or administrative costs. It goes, every dime, every penny goes directly into the program that a donor wants it to go for. The Redeem Project, everything we do is free, just like the FSS program. It's free to anyone. It doesn't matter your income or anything like that. It's all free. We do men's work and interview clothing. We do Hope for Christmas for people that don't fall into the criteria for other help in the area. And we only help a family one time at Christmas. We do a lot of GED and high set. We set people up with tutors. We don't do a class. We do individual tutors because many of the people that we're dealing with that need to get their GED are late 30s, mid 40s.
Right.
And so it's been a while since they've been in school, and they need a little more individualized help than in a classroom, and so we set them up with tutors. We help set up mentors for people because sometimes you just need someone there to help guide you a little
Right.
bit.
And that's a very
so-
important part of both of these programs, whether it's REDEEM or the FSS program, is having that relationship with someone who can inspire you. And ladies, I can assure you, that's what you're doing. And you're doing it in a wonderful fashion. And I will tell you, this lady, both of these ladies are very religious, and they look at what they do as a life's effort. Well, I won't get any farther than that, but I admire that portion of both of you and what you're doing with both programs, actually. Okay, what are some of the ways that you can utilize volunteers? And I know there's dozens of ways, but maybe a few.
Julie, would you like to answer that?
Well, we're always looking for people who would be interested in helping with childcare or transportation for the men and women who are involved in the program. Volunteers for REDEEM, at Christmas time to come and wrap presents. For the FSS program specifically, maybe somebody who has a skill set that would be good in teaching a class or facilitating, mentoring, tutoring, those types of things.
I hadn't considered the transportation piece, but for many of these individuals, they don't have transportation. It's a bus or nothing, or
Right.
walking. And that, certainly in this time of the year, and we're taping this in the middle of a very cold spell, that can be dangerous for not only for them, but for their children as well. And I forgot about the fact that childcare is also an important part of this.
Exactly. We want to make sure that there are no excuses. There are no reasons that someone cannot come to, especially the classes on Wednesday. For 8 years now, we've consistently had classes at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. And we've kept it that way because, number one, it's consistent for those who work. We can work with their employers to allow them to take lunch early that particular day and come to class, things like that. But we want to be able to provide child care when it's needed.
So there's not the distraction.
Exactly, so that mother or father doesn't have to worry about their child or what's going on. And we also want to help them with transportation, and maybe that's something as simple as a bus pass or a gas card to help someone to have the gas to get to class. But we want to make sure that we take all of the reasons out of there that they can't be there.
And by the way, I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you have questions or want any more information with regards to the FSS program, you can pick up the phone and call 573-353-4720, or you can go online and visit fssjeffcity.org, and they're also on Facebook, so you can get some good information by those methods. And I think it's important for people who do have questions to have that opportunity to have them mentioned. Okay, so how can the community help the program?
There are a lot of ways that they can help. Of course, donate their time is more important than anything. Because as you well know, we have an advisory board of community members that set up of people from all walks of life. You might be interested in being on the advisory board. It might be someone who would like to teach a class or tutor someone or mentor someone. Again, the child care is very important. Transportation, those are top two things that we really need help with. It may be that you don't have the time to be able to do that, but you can buy a bus pass, or you can buy a gas card at Casey's or break time,
Right.
and because those are more prevalent. Or you can donate $20 to purchase a gas card or something like that. We can utilize people in almost any way that you can think of.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And we talk about all of the opportunities for helping people, but the inspiration to me with this program is the fact that indeed their clients, the clients of the FSS program and also the REDEEM project, are helping themselves. They're generally trying to help themselves through the programs that are offered. So that's a wonderful opportunity. Ladies, thank you for what you do. And Julie, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the organization, and welcome to the expanded community. And Vicki, God bless you for what you do, and keep doing it.
Thank you.
All right. And we hope that you've enjoyed your time, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye, and God bless.
you.